So the speed build here is up on sawhorses. I lifted it up, put it on here, and now it's like waist high, so it's a lot easier to work on, and I can work on a pulley system underneath just by laying down on this rag here. And I got the battery in here, and see how it's kind of curved up. And then it came down here the same way, but I bent that up. I threw some bolts on either side right there to hold it, so this whole thing's removable, and I cut out this plate right here, and that kind of fits around the terminal. That's the negative terminal, so I'm not really that worried, I guess, about if it touches or not, but I'll be welding that up. That'll be holding the battery into position. I have this piece of flat stock here that kind of holds the battery up, but I need to get a carrier bearing to go right where that black tape is on the axle, so I know, but it's going to be the same bearing as this one over here and those, so it's already a 1/2 inch wide, and I got 1/2 inch in between there, so not really a big deal. But until then, I can show you how I do the bracing for the third bearing carrier there, and then I can build the battery brackets. But I can build the seat bracket right now, so I'm working on that. Cut out the plate, and obviously just all welded up, and bolts drilled and all that. Here's a transmission. I just use angle iron and then cut the sides off it as a flat stock. And I have 3 separate ones. They're fairly strong, 1/8 inch or 3/16. I can't remember. I think around 3/16. There's a 4-inch pulley on the bottom, got from Tractor Supply. Has a clip on it. 4-inch front and rear. Would go pretty good. And these C-clamps from Harbor Freight are really holding this whole thing together temporarily. This is just a piece to hold up the battery for the transmission. And this is for the V-belt idler pulley I'll be showing you for the clutch. See underneath here, there's the engine crankshaft. There's the very front of the mower all the way up there, which is maybe about 6 inches. So I don't really have that much room for stuff. I was going to run 7-inch to 7-inch pulleys, but because that's what I had laying around, but those are just way too big. So unfortunately I can't use those. But kind of bit the bullet and got some new stuff. Here's the 4-inch front pulley. I'm going to be using a hub that I already have. And I got these grade 8 coarse thread, a 1/2 inch for the snapper rear hubs. I have a 2-inch idler pulley, flat, for the clutch. This is for the clutch also. So like we have transmission pulley and an engine pulley. This one will be positioned stationary, and then this will be on the clutch arm. And this one will be moving, so this doesn't have to move as much, and less movement's good. I mean, it's not that this wasn't expensive, but less throw, less moving parts as much, so that should help me out. So I got all that, and then I have this for the seat. These are 3/8 grade 5, not as heavy duty, I guess, but I don't really need grade 8. But so those will go through there. I already have some locking nuts kicking around, and clean this all up. Fairly nice for paint. See how close it is. I could back it off a little bit. I mean, it's gonna be right about there, so it's still about 1/8 inch. I mean, the chain kind of comes close over here, so I'm gonna be kind of bending this out for the chain and stuff like that. But working on the battery currently, and I'll be getting the seat all, and then I'll get that in position, and then weld it all up, whatever, and then start working on the pulley system. Well, with the engine pulled off this thing, you can see the mods I did. These are engine lift blocks, and these blocks are about 1.25 inches, I believe. That was because the crankshaft was coming out about 1 inch off the bottom of the frame rails, and I didn't want the crankshaft. So now it's about 1/8 inch tucked up from the bottom of the frame rail into the crankshaft. But so these are the lift blocks. It's the 3/4 normal 3/4 hole in the plate, and then 3/4 in the top. And these are boxed. Both ends are boxed on these, and those are welded to the plate. You can see it's the bolt, and that bolt comes out through, cinches the engine down. I just got to get some grade 8 ones of these. Got this on. Just been kind of busy with other stuff, but yeah. So Now I can put the engine back on, I guess, and I have a couple of these bolts, the ones I just showed you. A couple of those, so I can kind of get the engine in place and then start working on the pulley system. Got the gas tank all mounted, or not all mounted, but just have the gas tank kind of sitting there next to the 700. You kind of see that I do have some spacement issues. We have to making a really good chain guard, so that's also in the works. But take this off and see that the plate is already tacked on and whatever. Still gotta probably pull the transmission off or something, and then clean up that plate and run some beads underneath it and everything. But that's how it is for now, and start to get to work on the pulley and all the clutch system. Now on to the clutch. You can see on the 700 I put a 4-inch pulley. There's a 2.5-inch V-belt idler and a 4-inch pulley in the front. This works really good on my mudding mower, so I think clutching and everything will be just fine. Picked up a 33-inch half-inch belt and working on the clutch right now. This is what the original clutch arm is. There's a little spring hole. There's some bushings in the middle there. A little sleeve bolt that goes through, and then your idler goes on the top there. But what I want to do with this is remove this piece and take this, add this piece of metal with a little angle on it, like that. And I think I'm going to do something like that. So it's longer, a little bit of an angle to it, and it should work all out, and I'll show you how it's going to work underneath. Well, here's the clutch arm I just showed you. It's all welded up, and there's a 2-inch flat idler pulley and that 2.5-inch V-belt, and the belt will be running in between those pulleys right there. It's bolted, this pulley is bolted to the strip, my little trouble light there. That strip will be welded when I'm ready. I'll be welding that to the frame, and I guess it gives you some kind of adjustability, but that just kind of had holes in it previously, and it's rather thick stuff. I'd say it's about 1/4 inch. So anyways, I used the same kind of stuff. I just cut off the end right here. I bored it out to a 1/2 inch sleeve bolt, because that's what runs through the bushings here. And let me give you a little bit better shot. See, I might be cutting that arm off or something, maybe modifying it in some kind of way. But the 2-inch idler pulley, it pivots. This goes through that, and it goes through the motor plate. This plate right here goes through that and bolts on top. And it moves like this. As you see, it clears. It's a little shaky. It clears the top of the pulley until it hits the hub. Move the light over. But that's how much clutch movement I have. It's very smooth. I might need to grind the head of the bolt on the idler down, and I need to bring this down a little bit with some washers or something like that. But that's how close it gets to the V-belt there. And it goes all the way from there. So that's how much throw it has altogether. And it looks like it's going to work really good. And if it needs to, the belt stretches out and starts rubbing on the hub there, I can always edge a little bit out of that plate there. But that's how the clutch is going to be hooked up. Let me kind of throw the belt in here. Here with the belt on all the pulleys and everything, you can see how this will crimp like that. That's the belt routing. And now I just need to make some linkages and stuff, and I'll figure out a clutch spring later, but it shouldn't be too hard to make one of them. I just need to bring down the pulley a couple inches, like 1 inch or so, 1/2 inch, so it kind of lines up the belt a little bit better, but it doesn't move around that much. I can, it needs a little adjustment, but that's about as much play as it has in that. But I'm going to start working on the clutch foot pedal, and show you how I do that. Now on to the clutch pedal, and so I can hook up the linkage. This is a MTD clutch system, I guess. This is what it all happens, I guess, when you put your foot on there. And I'll be cutting all 3 of these tabs off here, and actually just 2 of them are welded on, those 2. And this one is a hanger that I'll probably be drilling and bolting to the frame, and also I'll be cutting this and then flipping this 180 so I don't have this come out all the way. They have this extra bit, so you'll see it'll look a lot better when it's all put up against to the chassis. But I'm gonna get this all mounted and cut and welded and show you how it looks. As you can see, here's the clutch pedal. I turned it around. Now it's pointing out, and I welded the hangers on the side of the frame, and I stripped the whole thing and then chopped it and re-welded it so it's much shorter, and a cotter pin will fit on the end of it. And here's the clutch linkage. It's all hooked up. There's a heim joint there and a rod end there. And the heim joint and both of these are adjustable, so if the belt stretches out, I can belt stretches out a little bit, I can shorten this up a little bit, and then this pedal will stay in the same position. And this is just how it works. Lots of throw and everything, plenty of slack for when the clutch is stopped. But I'll just make a stopper or something that points from here, and I'll just touch the frame so the pedal doesn't swing all the way down or something, but so this doesn't hit the frame rail. But just a little clutch operation. It's really close right there. All works out. As you can see, there's not much. Try and get a shot. There's not much travel. Like, this is where it's gonna be. That's the maximum it could be, but it's not gonna be there. It's gonna be more worried about there. And then when you push it down, this would be my stopper, I guess. That's what I'm using. But I'll have like this much, because when you're sitting on this thing, it's so small, your knees are bent 90 degrees and your foot are totally flat, so it's kind of hard to move your ankles that much. So just having that much is perfect amount of play, and the joints make it a lot more heavy duty, and I don't have to worry about stuff breaking. I'll throw the belt on just so you guys can see. It shouldn't have any problem clutching. Here, push it up.